Hello and welcome to Experiencing Love. I'm your host, Philip Jocks, and I'm so glad that you're here. It's amazing what a little bit of sleep can do to soothe your mind. I just took a very short nap, which is a little bit questionable how late in the day it is, but I took one anyways because I felt it in my body and I felt it in my soul that I just needed a very quick reset. So I just took a 20-25 minute nap to get that reset right before starting to record this episode. Today has been an interesting day, and if I had to give it a theme of one word, I would choose the word change. Today is another day of change, and it's change that was thrown upon me, and then I decided to take back control and make the change into what I wanted it to be. It reminds me of what I often say, that if you don't create the change in your life, life will create the change for you. I think there have been many times within the last few weeks and few months really, where I had the opportunity to change in a big way, and I didn't take it. Obviously, if you've been listening for a while, you know that there's a lot of different things that I've changed. A lot of different times that I've practiced change if I haven't exactly shared specifics. But I have to admit, my soul knew that I wasn't creating the change that I needed to create. It knew that there was something inside of me that still felt disconnected. It felt off. And each time that life nudged me to make a change and do something different, it scared me enough that I didn't do it. I used the mask that I was making changes in other areas of my life, whether it's my physical health or my diet or with this podcast, so that I don't have to come to terms with something else that scares me. I admit now that I've been running from fears in my life, fears directly impacting all the success that I want to create and more. I've talked on here before about how I don't spend as much time as I want to, say, on my business or on creating content. This has been especially the case over the last few weeks. And I've had this perspective for a while that I need to rest so my body and my mind can recover. And that was just a clever excuse to not do more work. It's weird because when I look at the past, I never see anything that I have done as something I wasn't supposed to do. And therefore, I don't regret any of my decisions in the past. And I could also acknowledge that there's a desire for something different. I'll be honest, with the change that's currently happening, my mind is still a little bit confused and I'm trying to wrap my head around a lot of things. So I need to speak a little slower about this. I have been making excuses, and I was meant to make those excuses. I was meant to get to where I am right now, in this situation right now. All of the desires that I've ignored in the past, I was meant to ignore, because that built up a fire inside me now to create longer lasting and a more impactful change in my life. So I don't regret any of the decisions I've made in the past, and I could see how they've contributed to where I am now. The only way I could change any of this is if I had a time machine, and since I don't, I could only look at where I am now. I believe I am exactly where I'm supposed to be, when I'm supposed to be. So any pain that I feel now, any discomfort that I feel now, has been building for this moment. Things are going to be different. I'm obviously still going to record, and I'm still going to post every single day. I just might not be home for a little while. I've decided it may be time for me to do a little bit of adventuring, do a little bit of exploring. It's time I go out and explore more of myself as I explore the world. I think I've grown really comfortable in the environment that I'm in. I've grown really comfortable with the excuses that I'm making. I don't spend nearly as much time working as I used to, even though I have more time than I've ever had. More time for myself, more time for the people in my life. I've been spending far too much time scrolling through social media, watching YouTube videos, playing video games. It's not wrong to do those things, but in moderation. I lost that lesson somewhere along the lines. So I'm going to be leaving for a little while. With the plan I'm currently creating, it does scare me because it's so sudden. It's so sudden and almost not fully thought out. While it may not be fully thought out at this point, it has been fully felt out. To me, that means I may not have an exact plan. I may not have an exact agenda. I may not know why everything is happening the way it's happening. But I know I've had these desires for a long time. I've had the desire to do a road trip for who knows how long. I've wanted to travel the country and see and experience more of nature. I've wanted to live on my own terms for the same amount of time, if not longer. And while I have a lot of freedom now, I'm not quite there yet. There have been some compromises I've made along the way, and I've lost a part of myself. And while that feels heavy for me to say, there's a part of me that's happy and excited because I genuinely feel like I'm about to find a part of myself. I've recently felt so out of ease, so uncomfortable in myself, and I haven't known what to do about it. Because of that, I returned to all the old habits that I used to have to make me feel better. The scrolling, the social media, the video games, the food. That's everything I used to do to feel better within myself. Today was my wake-up call. I want to completely change my environment. I don't know for how long, and I don't think I'm meant to have that answer just yet. And strangely enough, I'm really not afraid. I was afraid before, when everything was happening. And I'm purposely being vague because, honestly, I don't want to go into it. I experienced it once, and I'm not quite ready to dive back in yet. But just know that the universe has a way, has many ways actually, to impact your life. For many of us, it could be losing a job. It could be losing a loved one. It could be getting kicked out of a friend group. It could be getting involved in an accident. There's many, many more ways apart from this. But it just shows that when it comes to the external world, we truly have so little control. We have complete control about what goes on in our own minds and our own bodies in the way of emotions and feelings and actions. Because let's be honest, we also don't control everything in our bodies. Things like breathing and blinking happen automatically. Most of the time, we aren't even aware of it. We can't just tell our heart to stop beating. We're not in full control of that. So when I really think about it, we are so out of control that I think the only solution is to embrace it, fall into it. When life happens, it happens for me, not to me. Everything that has happened over the last 4 months and my entire life is happening for me, for a reason. I was meant to be uncomfortable because that brought me to this breaking point right here, to this moment that can be called a threshold that introduces an opening. And when an opening like this appears, it's our job in life to jump through that opening, to completely change our lives. Reaching a threshold and seeing that opening only happens from extreme dissatisfaction. It's because some area of your life has become too stale for too long. We're not meant to stay the same forever. Our relationships with our spouses, with our parents, with our siblings, with our kids, they're not meant to be the same forever. You grow, they grow, and you have to grow together. You have to adapt together. Maybe for a while you've been upset with your body. You don't like the way you look, but you've accepted the way you look. And every day you look in the mirror and you're just a little bit sad. Well, this happens day after day after day, until one day maybe you go to the doctor and you get a result from some test that shows that if you don't correct your health now, you're shaving years off the end of your life. For many people, that may be enough to be a threshold, to see the opening that they have to change their health, they have to change something in their lives. Or maybe that's not enough. But then a family member or another health professional looks at you in that moment and asks, do you want to make it to your children's wedding? Do you want to be there for your grandkids' birth and their first, second, third birthday? Do you want to see your grandchildren get married? If you don't make this change now to your health, you may never make it there. Now, when some people hear that, now that can be a threshold for them. The opening opens up. They have the decision to drastically change their life because now they have this newfound motivation, this newfound drive. And it's at that point that we all have a choice. We can either take it or leave it. We could take the opportunity to change and truly change because we've gone to that threshold, or you don't change. And this is what often happens, is that if you don't change in that moment, you won't change after that moment. Once the opening is closed, it's gone. And the only way to get back to a point of change is reaching another threshold. That means you have to go through the many stages of discomfort and satiation and dissatisfaction to reach another threshold, to see another opening. And the more you say no at that opening, the more times you have to go through this cycle. And the more times you go through the cycle, the more painful it gets. And eventually, God, the universe, life will thrust upon you a level of change that you've been ignoring. Maybe it's a heart attack. Maybe it's the death of another family member. Whatever it is, it's going to create some irreversible change where you can no longer ignore changing. Or should I say, you can no longer ignore the universe wanting you to change. You could ignore changing, of course, and that's when life is just going to get more and more painful. If there's anything I've learned over the last year and a half, it's that I'm tired of saying no when the opening is in front of me. I'm tired of going through the cycle of repeating the same thing every day and not getting the results that I want because deep down I'm afraid of something. So I'm not always great at creating change in my life, not in every area of my life all at the same time, because that's a lot. What I have become good at is seeing these moments of threshold, these moments of the opening, and taking that moment, seeing it, accepting it, and embracing it. I'm feeling better than I did earlier today. I'm feeling less afraid. I'm actually feeling a little bit excited because change does excite me. I have no clue what the next few weeks will look like, but maybe I'm halfway across the country in a place I've never been to before, seeing things I've never seen before, with people I've never met. I could be having the time of my life, helping people in ways that I've only dreamed of helping them. And it's all because I've said yes to this moment, to what life is trying to tell me. Today, I feel this episode a little bit deeper in my heart than I usually do. These happen every once in a while, and I find these episodes to be really important. There's a change in your life that you know you need to make. And honestly, I'm not even saying that you have to make that change now. If you can, awesome. Please do it. You know you're called to it. But if you find that you keep making the change and then going back and making it again and going back, then just know that you haven't found the fuel yet to make that change last. In order to make that change last, you may have a threshold in your future that you're going to reach. And in that threshold, you will have a moment of insight. And from that moment of insight, you will see the opening. I just ask of you, no, I beg of you, that when you see that opening, and it will be scary, take it. Take that opening, jump through it, do whatever the scary thing is. You will know exactly what it is when it comes. Don't ignore it. I promise you what's on the other side of it is more worth it than anything else in the world. Life is happening for you, not to you. So when scary changes in front of you, it's because it's a call for you to grow. If you won't do it for yourself, do it for a loved one. Do it for anyone. See a picture in your mind of who might benefit from the change that you're about to step into. And don't forget that person. They're waiting for you. Thank you so much for being here. Really. Thank you for listening. Some of these episodes coming forward may sound a little bit different. Not immediately, but they are going to change. And when that happens, I'm going to do my best to communicate everything. Maybe I'll write special edition blogs or actually post on social media. I'll find a way to explain everything that's going on. Until then, have a beautiful rest of your day, beautiful rest of your night if you're listening to this late. You are an amazing person, and you have a light inside of you that the universe is calling. Someone out there needs to see you shine, and maybe that someone is me. Remember to always fill up with the love, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. I love you.